Hey guys, welcome to Tabletop Warbands! In this video we are playing Warhammer 40k in a 500 points match that sees a new army join our channel, the Leagues of Votann. They will face their sworn enemies, the Orcs. I'm Simone and I will play the Votann.
Hi, I'm Andrea and I will play the Orcs. Before we started, if you are subscribed to the channel, welcome back. If you are not subscribed yet and want to help us, join our growing community now by clicking on the subscribe button. And don't forget to activate the bell so you don't miss the next battle reports. Thank you guys!
Also, watch the video until the end of the game, because we will need your help. Thanks and enjoy! Today's mission is Encircle. The two armies will have to deploy within these two areas. There are 4 objectives and they are arranged in this way. As secondary objectives, Leagues of Votann have chosen Slay the Warlord, the Ancestors are watching, and Lay Claim, while the Orcs have Slay the Warlord, Attrition, and Engagement of Fronts. Both armies start with 3 command points.
Let's move on to the description of the armies. While raiding an Imperial outpost, some Orcs reported to have seen a squad running away. The Beast Boss decided to investigate the matter, and soon enough an army of Votann appeared. There's no time to waste, go and erase them from this planet. This army belongs to the Snakebites clan, and the general is a Beast Boss. He is armed with Beast Naga Claw and Shoota. As general trait, I chose Brutal but Cunning. Each time he attacks, he can make additional rolls for every dice that did not reach the inflict damage stat. Then, as a relic, I gave him the Beast Hide Mantle, which adds 1 attack to the badass attack characteristic and makes him roll a dice for every wound he suffers. With 5+, he doesn't suffer that wound. As a troop, I choose the Beast Nagaboids and deployed them in a unit of 15 models. With their toughness 5 and a vulnerable save of 6, they are truly a terrifying unit. I also chose a unit of 10 normal boys. One of them has a rocket launcher, while the boss knob is armed with 2 Kid Saws. Next in line, we have the Squeakog Boids, 3 wonderful Orcs on Squeaks and their loyal Bomb Squeak, which, in my opinion, is the best model on the unit. And finally, I also chose Noble Smash a Squeak. The ability that allows him to inflict mortal wounds on the charge makes him super useful against the infantry.
The Leagues of Votann have recently opened an outpost on a remote part of the planet Hesperia. The Urkins have come into contact with Imperials who rule the planet and have developed a thriving trade with them, which is currently in jeopardy for the recent raids of the Orcs. A Kinhost has been sent to fix the problem and wipe the Orcs out of their trading network. The Kinhost belongs to the Greater Turian League, whose rule allows them to reroll a hit or wound roll when a unit makes a shooting attack or fights. The Army General is the Aenir Champion, armed with a Darkstar Axe and Wheatfield Crest, which grants him a 4+ invulnerable save and gives him an additional wound. As a general trait, he has Warrior Lord, and as a relic he has Wayfarer Grace, which has a really cool effect. The main body of the army consists of 2 units of Urkin Warriors. The first consists of 10 warriors armed with Autok pattern bolters with no additional equipment. The second unit instead consists of 8 warriors with the Autok pattern bolter, 1 Etakan plasma beamer and 1 Eyelash auto rifle. Supporting the 2 units, there is a unit of Urkin Pioneers, made up of 3 models armed with Magna Coil autocannons. Their task will be to control a flank of the army. My secondary objective, Lay Claim, allows me to have 3 resource markers on the battlefield that I will have to attempt to control. Each marker I control at the end of the battle is worth 5 victory points. Andrea will have to place the markers on the battlefield.
Since I have to place them further than 6 inches from my drop zone, the border of the battlefield, and 9 inches from one another, I place the tokens in this way. I decided to divide my army into groups. On the right, we have the infantry with the Boids, who will try to take the objective 4, and the Snaga, who will try to charge the enemy warriors as soon as possible. On the left, there are the Nobles Smash a Squeak and the Squeagogs, who will try to fight the bikes on objective 1.
I chose to deploy the 2 main units in the center of the battlefield so that I can keep them in range of all objectives. The 7th squad is in control of objective 3. Considering Andrea's deployment, they will be the squad that will face the bulk of the enemy army. The other team will stay in support and try to use heavy weapons to do some more damage to the Orcs. The leader is near the 7th squad, ready to lend a hand in case of need. Ernkin's team is on the left side, waiting to move towards objective 1 to take control of it. My plan is to try to take advantage of the distance and delay the Orc charge as much as possible.
Rolling for initiative, green dice for Orcs and grey dice for squads.
This is a good start.
3. The initiative is yours.
Winning the initiative on the first turn was an extremely important step. It will allow me to have a full turn of fire before the Orcs can get close. In the command phase, I have nothing to do, so I go straight to the movement. The Urkins would have an ability that allows them to make a move before the game starts, but I don't need that in this case. The bikes move during the movement phase and reach Objective 1. Squad 4 moves inside the building to take cover and enter firing range with their weapons. The 7th squad moves a little further and is closer to Objective 3. The leader moves between the two units, staying close enough to the 7th squad to have their cover. 7th squad opens the dance and prepares to unleash a fearsome barrage of fire against Naga's infantry. I use a command point for the stratagem Optimized Volley. Each hit roll of 6 made by this unit, if the target unit has 11 or more models, scores 2 additional hits. The team is armed with auto pattern bolters, so that's 20 shots at 3+ against these Nagas. That's 4 6s, so 8 additional hits for a total of 23 hits. Roll to wound at 5, dividing the dice into 2 groups. First group, 4 wounds. Second group, only 3. I expected a lot more, 7 wounds total.
Saving 7 dice at 6 thanks to the invulnerable save. And that is 7 dead orcs. Not a great start. Half of the unit is removed from the battlefield in a blink of an eye.
The Aenir champion is armed with the auto pattern combi bolter and decides to shoot this Naga too, making 4 shots at 2+. All hit, 5+ to wound. He can reroll dice thanks to the league rule. 2 wounds.
Saving again at 6. Or not saving, I should say. 2 more Naga by the dust.
The Urkins on the left flank open fire on the Squigogs with the Magna Coil autocannon. With 3 shots apiece, that's 9 shots at 3+. I reroll a dice for the league rule. Only 3 hit. These autocannons are not very accurate. With strength 7 and toughness 6, I would wound at 3, but with the snake bites rule, I wound at 4+ instead. 2 wounds.
Saving with 5+ for the -1 penetration. 2 wounds through.
The 4th team follows the Urkins lead and targets the Squigogs. We start with 16 bolter shots at 3+. 12 hit, very good. With strength 4, they need 5 to wound. 6 wounds for the orcs.
Saving with 5+. Just 1 save. With 5 wounds total, 2 Squigogs die and 1 is left with 2 wounds.
First special weapon, the Eyelash, 3 shots at 3+. Oh, nice dice roll. All 3 hit. Same strength and toughness, 4+ to wound. Only 1 dice wounded the Squigog.
Saving with 6. Nope, 1 wound left.
And finally, the Atakarn Plasma Beamer that traces a straight line to the Squigog. 1 shot at 3+. Great, hit. At strength 8, he only needs a 3+ to wound, as the Snakebites rule doesn't apply against strength 8 or higher. Wounded.
Saving with 6+ invulnerability. 5! Rerolling with a command point. 5 again. Okay, Squigog unit gone. Awesome. Morale phase. The Naga unit has to test and I need to roll a 1 to succeed. Nope. Combat attrition test. Since the unit is less than half strength, for every 1 or 2 a model leaves the battlefield. 5 dice at 3+. 2 more orcs leave the battlefield. Oh, this game started so bad. Now it's my turn. I don't think I will be able to survive another round of shooting, so I absolutely need to charge. The beast boss calls a WAG, meaning that all my units can advance and charge, have +1 to strength and attacks characteristics, and have a 5+ invulnerable save. These Nagas advance first. 6! Great job! They move 11 inches forward. Now the boys. 1. Rerolling with a command point. 6! Great roll. They managed to get close to the Naga, but I'll still need a good charge roll to reach the squads. And now the beast boss. 1. Guys, come on. Noble smash a squeak. 2. At least he has high base movement. Since I advance with all my units, I can't shoot, so let's go straight to the charge phase. The Nob charges both the bikes and the infantry squad.
I use a command point for the Overwatch. The 4th team fires on the Noble Smash a Squig, starting with the bolters. 16 shots at 6. Ah, I see. Not even 1. Eyelash Auto Rifle, 3 shots at 6. 1 hit, thank goodness. 4+ to wound. Here it is.
Saving with 5+ invulnerable save. 6! Nice!
Lastly, the Atakarn Plasma Beamer, 1 shot at 6. Nope, I can reroll it for the league rule. Failed again. What a wasted command point.
Now the charge roll. Need 6+ to enter combat. 5. Rerolling with a command point. 8. When the Nob finishes the movement, I can choose a unit he charged and roll 5d6, and for each 4+, that unit suffers a mortal wound. 5 dice at 4+ on the infantry. 3 mortal wounds.
Being mortal wounds, I can't do anything more than remove the 3 models. This happens when the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park are released.
Now, this Naga on the infantry in front of them. Needs 6+. 5! Almost! Now, the boys on the same unit at 8+. 5 again. I can't believe it! Combat phase. The Nob fights with the bikes and makes 5 attacks at 3+. For hit, wounding with 3 for the higher strength, 3 wounds total.
Wotan have a save of 4+, rolling 3 dice. 2 attacks saved, 2 wounds inflicted on the bikes.
Now the Squeak Jaws, 2 attacks at 3+. 1 hit, wounding with 3+, wounded.
4+ again to save. Nope. A Urkin was thrown off the bike and eaten by the Smasher Squig. What a pain! The 4th team throws itself into the fray and positions itself better with the pile-in. All models manage to attack, with 2 attacks each and 3 of detain, that's 15 attacks at 3+. 11 successful attacks, with strength 4 I need 5s. I reroll a dice with the league rule. 6 wounds total, not bad. These skins are good.
Saving with 4+. Okay. 4 wounds through. 1 wound left.
The 2 remaining Urkins attempt to avenge their fallen comrade, making 6 attacks at 3+ on the Smasher Squig. 4 attacks hit, with toughness 6, they need 5 to wound. I can reroll a dice. Oh yeah, 2 wounds!
Saving with 4+. Oh yes, he's still alive!
In the Emerald phase, the 4th team is the only one to take the test. With 3 dead and leadership of Detain 8, it only takes 5 or less to pass. 1. It takes a lot more to scare the kin. At the end of an opponent's turn, the Wotan have the ability to mark a unit in control of an objective with a judgment token, which will give bonuses to the models that fire on the marked unit. I choose the boys unit next to objective 4, which receives a judgment token. The first round went exactly as I'd hoped. Winning the initiative allowed me to decimate the Orc army before he could reach me. The Wog launched by the boss allowed Andrea to close the distance in short time, but luckily for me, 2 of his charges failed. This means that I will have another round of fire in which I will try to eliminate the last remaining units. If I don't, I could be in trouble.
Not the best start, I would say. This Naga unit is vanished, and I also lost his Squigog's unit. If in the next turn Simone doesn't hit as many shots as in the first, I should be able to charge Simone and tear his unit apart with my Beast Boss and the Boys.
At the beginning of the second round, I gained 15 victory points thanks to the fact that I controlled 2 objectives, 1 more than Andrea. Let's go place my troops in useful places. The Urkins are the first to move and withdraw from the fight, leaving the 4th team to eliminate the Nob, while the bikes position themselves in control of objective 2. The 7th team moves forward, trying to block the attempt of Andrea to approach objective 3. The champion follows the team at a short distance. The first to fire in the shooting phase is my leader, who empties his Combi Bolter's clip onto the 3 remaining Snagas. 4 shots at 2+. 3 successful hits, 5+ to wound. I reroll a dice. Only 1 wound. Too bad, I was hoping to eliminate them.
Saving with 6+ invulnerability. 2. 2 Snaga left alive.
7 squad opens fire on the boys in front. I use the stratagem Optimized Volley again for a command point. The 6s to hit score just 1 additional hit, as the enemy team has fewer than 11 models. Also, thanks to the judgment token, 6s to hit automatically wound the target. Here we go, a salvo of 20 shots at 3+. 4 6s, so that's 4 automatic wounds, plus 4 additional hits, for a total of 16 hits. With the superior toughness of the Orcs, I need 5 to wound. 5 wounds, plus the 4 automatic ones, are 9 total wounds.
Ouch! Saving with 6. Just 1. Okay. 8 boys are escorted outside the battlefield.
The 4th team is armed with a pistol, so they can fire in combat against the Nob Smasher Squig. 7 hits at 3+. Rerolling 1. Great! 4 hits! With strength 4 and toughness 6, they wounded 5. 2 wounds! That might be enough.
Saving with 5+. Well, that's 5 in total, isn't that enough? Alright, the Nob also leaves the battlefield.
My champion prepares to fight and decides to charge the 3 remaining Snaga. He needs 4+ to reach them. I'd say 11 is fine. The Aenir is in combat. 7 squad charges as well, but they head for the Boyds. They need 5+. That's it! The kin are ready to fight. Will they be able to face the orcs in close combat? My leader has an ability when he charges, Mass Driver Accelerator. It basically hits the poor unfortunate with his shield. He needs to roll a 6 to activate the ability. And there it is! I called it! That's D3 wounds! 2 wounds inflicted. That's cool.
This Naganob has 2 wounds, so he's left with 1 and the other guy is removed from the battlefield.
My leader has charged, so he fights first against his Nagas, making 8 attacks at 2+ with his Dark Star Axe. I reroll a 1 for the League rule, another 1. Yep. 4 attacks at 3+ thanks to the Strength 6. Rerolling the 1 thanks to the rule of his Warlord trait, and again 1. I'm not even surprised anymore. 3 wounds.
Need 3 6s to save. Yeah, who would have imagined?
The 17 piles in on the Boyds to optimize the number of warriors in the fight, then attack the orcs doing 19 hits at 3+ on the greenskins. The 6 wounds automatically thanks to the Judgment token. I reroll a dice thanks to the League rule. Oh, that's 2 automatic wounds now! 6 attacks at 5+ to wound. Oh, none. Which means it's just 2 automatic wounds.
Saving with 6. 1 dice saved. Not to suffer more losses, I assign the wound to the Nob with 2 wounds. The Boyds respawn making 4 normal attacks and 5 of the Nob, rolling the 4 normal dice first at 3+. 3 hit, wounding with 3. Just 1.
A dice at 4+ to save. Ah, pity. A dead kin.
Now the Nob. 5 dice at 4+. Just 2. With strength 12, he wounds at 2. Both wounded.
With -3 penetration, I shouldn't be able to save them, but the Votann place a lot of value on the life of every kin, and so will I. I risk it and decide to save the attacks with the Thane, which has a 4+ invulnerability. He did it! You are a hero! The Thane is safe. Sadly though, a kin died from the previous attack, and his companions will miss him greatly.
Morale phase. The Boyds have to test and need the 1 to succeed. It shouldn't be so difficult since the rolls I'm doing today. 6. Alright, combat attrition test. With day 2, both the orcs flee from the battlefield. Yep, that's it. Both the Boyds flee. They're lucky the beast boss isn't in range. At this point, as you could imagine, I have no way to win this game, but the beast boss didn't like how his orc performed and decides to challenge the Votann leader to establish who is stronger in hand-to-hand combat. What do you say?
Well, you can't say that the Votann don't have a sense of honor. My leader recognizes a good challenge when it's offered. I accept. The kin of the 7th squad on the leader's order form a circle around their champion while he awaits the arrival of the orc.
The beast boss charges onto his rival and with anger makes 6 attacks at 3+. All hit. With strength 11 and the -1 from the enemy ram's shield, I wound with 3+. 4 wounds.
The Aenir has a 4+ invulnerable save. Oh, I use a common point to reroll a dice? Much better. 3 attacks saved. With his exo armor, the champion reduces the damage of the attacks taken by 1, then takes only 1 wound.
My beast boss is brutal but cunning, so he can make additional attacks equal to the number of attacks that didn't reach the inflict damage step of the previous attack, rolling 5 dice at 3+. 4 hit, wounding again at 3+. All wound.
Again 4+ to save. 2 more attacks saved, but 2 missed, so including the previous attack, that's 3 total wounds suffered by my champion. The Aenir champion responds making 8 attacks at 2+ with the Dark Star Axe. All hit! Great job! With Strength 6 and Toughness 6, I need 4+. Thanks to his Warlord trait, he can reroll failed dice to wound. Whoa! 7 wounds!
5+ invulnerable save. 4 wounds suffered. 2 left. I need you to focus. It's my turn again and this time, the beast boss make 5 attacks at 3+ because the effect of the WAG ended. 2 hit. Wounding with 3. Both wound.
Saving the attacks at 4+. This would be the next turn, so I can use another common point to reroll dice. Here is the 4! A wound suffered.
4 additional attacks at 3. Literally. Wounding with 3. 3 wounds.
3 dice to save at 4+. Ah, my champion is down! He has suffered too many wounds and he should die. But his relic comes to his rescue. He carries the Wayfarer's Grace. When he would first be killed, on a 3+, he can be revived with D3 wounds remaining and out of combat. I need to do 3+ to save him. There it is! My leader is still alive! How many wounds left? 2. Okay, not bad. The duel is over and the champion acknowledges defeat. Therefore, keeping his honor, he grants your orc the chance to walk off the battlefield alive. Unless you want to face my entire army alone.
The orc knows that he has to punish someone back at the camp, so he accepts the offer and promises that this won't be the end of the fight. Then, he walks away. Victory goes to the Votann. For now.
Wow, what an ending! This duel was really intense and full of action. The match ended quickly with a decisive victory for the Votann, but this duel redeemed the orcs in my opinion. The initiative won in the first round made it difficult for Andrea to win the game. The Votann have a huge volume of fire to exploit. I must admit that I had a lot of fun playing them. They have a lot of interesting rules, and the judgment tokens are a mechanism that is very reminiscent of the grudges of fantasy dwarves. I like it. Can't wait to try them again.
I can't say I enjoyed this game. Unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to do anything. I think that the Votann are really strong, maybe even better than the Astra at the moment. Their firepower is pretty annoying and the save at 6 of the orcs didn't help. Well, the beast boss returned to the camp and the first thing he did was assemble another army. Who knows what or who will be his next target.
Before finishing, we would like to ask you to help us. The duel has created an interesting story that we will continue in the games to come, and we want these champions to have names worthy of note, such as Claudio, the General of the Astra. We would like you to help us choose the names, so that they feel like yours too. Leave your name suggestions for both the leader of the Votann and the leader of the orcs in the comments. Then we will decide the final names with a vote in the community section. I'm sure we'll get lots of great name suggestions. And with this, we conclude. If you like our content and want to help us grow the channel, we have an account on the platform Buy Me a Coffee where you can support us with donations. Any help you can give us to improve the channel is welcome. We are counting on you. The link is in the description.
And if you have come this far, write the word grudge in the comments to let us know. You are the best. And if you are not yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, leave a like and write us in the comments. We are always curious to know what you think.
That's it, guys!
See you next video!